forward to what could well be the greatest day in his footballing life. But he twisted an ankle in only the second minute of the game, and the signs were already there that he'd got a problem. His father, Les Allen, in dark glasses, he must have been disappointed too, because Clive was substituted early in the second half, desperately upset. Tears, in fact, seem to be a part of the Allens' Wembley. Remember cousin Paul Allen of West Ham 2 years ago in tears when he collected a winner's medal. But now these are tears of deep disappointment for Clive. In fact, he was in a lot of pain. He was carried off at the end of the game, and the ankle in the end had to be quite heavily strapped in the coach there that took Queen's Park Rangers away from Wembley, and Clive presumably out of the replay. So Clive Allen almost certainly out, and so too is Glenn Roeder, skipper of Rangers, because of suspension. Delighted to welcome Glenn with us today, and the Spurs skipper, Steve Perryman, as well. Glenn, what's your feeling about that system? You were sent off in a league game, weren't you? And hence you're out of a cup final replay.
Well, obviously I'm disappointed for myself, but I'm pleased for the lads and the club that we're still in there with a chance. After all, we did equalise late, and Spurs must have thought they'd won the cup. So as I say, I'm disappointed for myself, but ever so pleased for the lads.
Yes. And when that goal went in, when Terry Venables' goal went in, did you think straight away, but I've had it now for the replay?
No, that wasn't in my mind straight away. It sort of hit me on the final whistle that I won't be able to play on Thursday.
Steve Perryman, when did Spurs realise that they were now going to be facing a Rangers side without arguably their best player on the day yesterday?
Yes, we realised about a quarter of an hour after the game had finished. Someone mentioned it in our dressing room, and it seems as though we've had all the problems before the first game, and maybe Rangers have got the problems before the second one.
How are your problems sorting themselves out now? I mean, Ray Clements was hobbling a little bit at the end. You were doubtful before, of course. I mean, what about your own level of fitness?
Yes, I was very pleased the way that I came through the game fitness-wise. I hadn't kicked a ball up until Saturday morning, so to go through 120 minutes with no problems was fantastic. Tony Galvin came through very well. Ray Clements is still a slight doubt, but he'll be there on Thursday.
I noticed one newspaper headline today talking about Ricky Villa. Let me play, he says in the replay. Do you think that's realistic?
Not really. I think all the same points are still there as they were on Saturday. And I don't see that there's any way really that Ricky would want to play them.
Did that business upset the preparations in any way? The decision late on Saturday for him to come out? Was it his decision?
Yeah, well, I get the impression that it was his decision, and I think it was the right decision. We could have done without, obviously, the build-up of it all with the Falklands and everything, and also the injuries. But I think that's all past us now, and we're getting ready for Thursday.
Glenn, what was your impression playing in a cup final? I mean, was it as you'd hoped it would be, better than you thought, more exhilarating, or what?
I loved every minute of it, really, to be quite honest, and it was probably more tiring than I thought it would be. I think the pitch is so big there, and it definitely saps your strength, but I did enjoy it, yes.
He had a marvellous game, actually, Steve, didn't he?
Yes, he did, yeah.
And also, I think Bob Hazel, too. You'd want to pay tribute to him.
Yeah, most definitely. He hasn't played all year for us. He's come in, and but when he has come in, he's done a great job for us, and yesterday was no exception.
Now, what are you going to be doing on Thursday? Sitting on the bench along with your manager and squirming a little bit?
Well, I would think so, yes, and I think it's worse watching than actually playing. So probably suffer a little bit along with the rest on the bench.
And a verdict now on the way you think it'll go on Thursday?
I think it's going to be a very tight game again, and I think an odd goal. You put me on the spot, really, but hopefully it'll go our way.
Well, as long as it's a good game for football, that's what we're interested in. Obviously, we want to win the game, and if we've got a match winner, I see it being Glenn Roeder.
Well, our thanks then to the two skippers from yesterday's game, but it does look certain that Glenn Roeder will miss that replay. Although the Q.P.R. manager, Terry Venables, here with me, feels that may not necessarily be so. Tell me about that, Terry.
Well, I'm told there is a precedent set, and that was when Billy Bonds got sent off and should have missed the cup final a couple of years ago against Arsenal. But apparently he did play. So if there's a possibility, of course, I will pursue that.
And how will you do that?
Well, I'll speak to FA Secretary Ted Croker as soon as I possibly can.
Because he would be a big miss, Glenn Roeder, for you. I mean, he had an exceptional game yesterday.
That's right. I mean, he's a good influence, and he's a good skipper. He was very cool in all situations, and we like to play from the back. and having his sort of skill coming from the back alongside Tony Curry is a big asset.
In fact, Brian Clough, who shared the commentary with me yesterday and will do so again on Thursday, said, I watched him 3 or 4 times at Orient. Maybe I should have bought him.
I said that about Pele.
Now, replacements, because obviously Glenn Roeder, I mean, although you're optimistic that there might still be a chance if you talk to Ted Croker.
Yes.
But realistically, it looks as though he won't play, shall we say. And Clive Allen also has got obviously a very slim chance. Tell me about your replacements.
Well, we've got, I've got several options. John Gregory can play at the back. Terry Fenwick can play at the back. And also we've got Ernie Howe in the squad, who's played in several of the cup rounds. So I've got those options, and I've got a little bit of time, so I'll take that time to consider that. And
Clive Allen?
Clive looks very, very doubtful indeed. He got, obviously, very disappointed losing his position there after 2 minutes. And we had to press on with him, Clive, because he said he was okay. So we waited till half time and thought if we strapped it up, see how it went. And straight away we realised that he wasn't going to be right, so we had to take him straight off.
And if he can't play, how will you sort that one out on Thursday?
Again, I would think that we've got Gary Micklewhite, Steve Burke, and we've got several options. So I'll take my time on that.
And you'll be looking for a captain, presumably, if Glenn Roeder doesn't play then.
Tony Curry will captain the side. He has captained the side when Glenn's not been playing in the past, so he'll continue to do that.
I mean, it was a great day for Rangers yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it really was a great day. And I know your chairman, Jim Gregory, has always said the one thing he wants, and goodness knows how he managed to stick it out to the last minute sitting next to Princess Anne. That was difficult for him.
That's right.
Because he likes to leave before the end.
Yeah.
But he said he wants status at the club. Do you feel now that after yesterday, maybe that status has arrived?
I certainly think it's added a lot of status to the club. We are looking for now a longer term policy. We don't want to just say this was our day and it's a cup final. We want to look forward and say that there'll be more cup finals, and we want to add obviously a harder core to our crowd. We would like to build up our crowd, and this type of situation where we've had a cup final, I think will only do us good. Actually, I was saying to the chairman that we go across Wormwood Scrubs in the mornings and you see the Liverpool shirts in the mansion. I said, we won't be happy until we see all the children over there with the hoop shirts on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hope the voice gets a bit better by Thursday. You've had a good old shout yesterday.
Like Lee Marvin.
Thanks for coming in, Terry.
Thank you.
Well, next we look with Ian St John for clues. And Ian St John kept a close watch on the match yesterday. Ian, first of all, and I think we've got to assume that Glenn Roeder won't be playing. How much will Rangers miss him, do you think?
Well, I think they'll miss him a lot, and he played such an important part yesterday along with Bob Hazel at centre-back that he will be missed. And, of course, it'll have an unsettling effect on the team, the fact that Terry will have to chop and change the lads. I thought yesterday that his contribution was terrific, Roeder, because he's a player that Terry likened him a bit to Franz Beckenbauer when I was talking to him. And you can see by the way he gets the ball out of defence and carries it upfield. He's got that attacking flair. Actually, if he'd have played the final ball there to his left, Rangers would have been in for a strike at goal. But he likes to get forward and change with Tony Curry. But his interceptions and his tackling were also first class. An example coming up here, and he goes with a tackle, wins the ball, and his use of the ball when he got it there was always very good.
And we've seen him intercepting there, but his pure defensive work along with Bob Hazel was exceptional.
Oh, yeah. Both of them played very, very well, and Roeder's ability in the air was good as well.
Now, Rangers then obviously going to go in with an unsettled side at the moment. And yet it was they who were settled before Saturday, and it was Spurs who had 1 or 2 problems. But Spurs look as though they might be able to field the same side again.
Yes.
But will they look for differences now, do you think?
Well, that's to their advantage, obviously. I think what they will look for, of course, is Stevie Archibald getting his goal touch back. Because yesterday, Brian, he had 3 very, very good chances. Now, Stevie Archibald of last year, for instance, would have been knocking them in the net. Here was one coming up now where he gets the ball, nips through into a lovely position, and he's only got the goalkeeper to beat. And that was just a wild shot, a wild blast at it. Now, Archibald is usually very clinical when he goes through. He usually just knocks it in the net. Here was another instance where he pulled the ball down, he got the break of it off his own body, and again, it was a wild slash, volleyed it over the top. But the final chance, this one coming up now, you can see that he's lost his confidence a little bit. He takes his time, he steadies it, but then he's really telling the goalkeeper where he's going to put it. He telegraphs it, and the goalkeeper is able to make the save. Now, last year, Stevie Archibald, I think, would have had at least 2 of those goals.
Yes.
So the Spurs will be looking for him.
And as a former striker yourself, I mean, is that something that comes back very quickly to you, or is he in a sort of trough that might take a little time to get out of?
Well, it comes and goes, and this is the thing about strikers. You never know when it's going to come back to you. Now, he could go out on Wednesday night, bang, 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 they're in the net, and everybody's saying, well done, Steve. And I think the Spurs fans will obviously be hoping that he can find it, along with Garth Crooks as well.
Yes. I mean, how do you see the replay going now? There's not the same build-up to it. They probably will be a little bit more relaxed. I mean, on Thursday night, what are you looking for?
Well, I think the Rangers tactically were very, very aware on Saturday, and I think they made the Spurs play the way they wanted. You know, they brought Galvin inside rather than let him run up the line so that he was running into the ruck. I think the free kicks, the corner kicks, they didn't get many, but they scored off one of them. They were always very ahead of the game there. But Spurs have learned from that, and I think that on Thursday night, I think the Spurs might just nick it.
Ian, thanks a lot for your assessment of that. So Rangers against Spurs then, and we'll be covering that replay on